Okay, we are live. Welcome back, everybody. I'm gonna just share the screen real quick. We're about to open. Boom. How's everyone doing? Look at this. We've had a crazy, well, not crazy pre-market, but quite a weird pre-market. A big sell-off, and now we've kind of drifted back up. We came back into that gap. We're testing. We literally just tested another gap, but obviously no point entering. Um, Not right before open. Here's the open. Let's see. I'm imagining sell pressure should come in. There we go. All right, we'll let the open cool off because it's just mental. How's everyone in the chat? Daniel, hello to you. MM Crypto, hello. Cody, good morning. Good morning, Holy Earth. Amar, good afternoon to you. Triple witching today. Be careful out there. Oh yeah, today it seems like it's going to be a bit of a crazy one. Oh, we've got NQ up here. What am I doing? There we go. That's the S&P NQ up. Good morning, Kevin. Nils, how are you? That's all right, Nils. No problem. Join whenever you can. That's all good. Cherry, how are you? So I should mention today, unfortunately, I've only got just over an hour. So I can only be live probably about an hour, 10 minutes, something like that. But let's see if we can at least get something in that time. I'm sure we can. Uncle, good morning. Everyone's all ready for pumped up for a good Friday, hopefully. I mean, a lot of sell pressure came in. It's annoying again that we opened in the gap because that would have been a great place to short, but you don't want to short it just before the open because it's risky, right? But what can you do? What can you do? It just happens. Yeah, man, that's very annoying. Literally opened at the gap. Okay, that's fine. We do have the low, well, a few lows here. So we can imagine there's going to be a lot of stops potentially here. Be some stops down here. There's loads of little areas where we can imagine take profits and stops to be triggered. So we've literally just hit one. Imagine, I wouldn't imagine so much stops anymore, but a lot of take profits. We did see a bit of a spike in volume there on the sell side. So I do think some sellers have taken profit, but not too many. Alexis, good morning to you. Peter, good day. We've got some buy pressure trying to buy the dip essentially, but nothing I want to participate in just yet. Going back down. No, maybe not. Okay, those sellers that came in fresh, they kind of failed a little bit. If I see buy pressure come in, I'm gonna take a buy. As long as we stay above that 355. Oh, it's such a choppy market. 425. They're adding more sellers coming in. They might break through here. They're struggling though. I'm gonna go in. There's a bit of a buy. And then I'm gonna have my stop literally. I got a lot of slippage there. I can have my stop. All right, let's put it below this low because it is. Oh, I'm just about to get stopped out almost immediately. The sellers have just come in. But the idea was these people were slowly starting to fail. There were fresh sellers and they were failing. And then buyers did come in a bit higher up, but they got absorbed very quickly. Fresh sellers are still coming in, but they're seeing something's happening here. But I think sellers have got this now. I think, yeah, they've got this. Just for a few seconds there, it looked like sellers might fail, but they got it. No big deal. All right, next level down we go. Sorry, I got someone messaging me. That's not important. All right, cool. So the next black line would be the next area we'd expect take profits, some sort of, stuff happening. Why not a short? Mainly because we're already near these lows. So, this is a very significant gap, I would say. So I'm not surprised that we kind of, what's the word? Rejected off it. But if the sellers keep coming in, yeah, I mean, we're going to flip our bias to be more short. Just the only reason I went long again was just because those, not these guys here. Let me get the pen. These guys at the top here were almost failing. It looked like they could have been squeezed out, but they didn't. My God, look at this sell pressure. This is insane. All right, I think these are all fresh sellers again. They pushed it down quite hard. There's a lot of absorption happening. You can see it in look at the volume coming in versus what we're actually getting. There is a buyer in this market passively. Oof. This is very hectic. Oof. Good morning, Coach Z. How are you? Happy Friday to you as well. Hello, Ange Trader. Sorry, didn't see you there. Ange, good to see you. Oh, I think these guys could potentially, but there's just too many sellers in the market right now. They're too aggressive. There's a bit of buy aggression. Let's see how they fare up. Yeah, sellers still willing to sell. It might be those buyers did very well. Okay, so the idea now is if we kind of drop back to these buyers, we want to see what happens. If buyers are willing to defend and come back in, you see more sellers are come back in, the numbers are dropped. So wasn't it? A few more buyers came back in, but there's something. The buyers are reloading. I just don't think the sellers are going to give up, though. I could try again. All right, I'm going to try one more time for a buy. See if the buyers can squeeze the sellers out. But realistically, again, below this candle, we have to get out. Or if a shit ton of sellers come in, the buyers do want it, but I think unfortunately, they're just not strong enough right this second. All right, good. That's it. Add volume. Let's clear out. I think these sellers here dropping out at break even. Sellers who came in on this candle, this volume here, dropped out potentially. But look at that. Sellers just came straight back in. They're really shorting it. This is the danger when there's so much volume in the market. You can have the setup, and these buyers look like they might be exiting. There's a bit more buyers coming in, but I think they might be finished here. I think the buyers have left. These guys here originally, I think they're gone. You can see the volume spike up, and now sellers are coming in. I think it's out. Well, my stop is there, so we'll leave it. You never know. They might come in a little bit lower, but I think I'm going to get stopped out now. Yeah. All right. Didn't quite happen again. So the danger right now is that there's just too many sellers in the market, but they're not being that effective. There's too many sellers in the market right this second, willing to just put on way too much volume. Like, look at that, 400. I think that volume there was these guys getting out at break even, and then these buyers got out here, and then fresh sellers came in, but we got fresh buyers again coming in. This is choppy as hell. They're really fighting each other. Those sellers could be trapped. The buyers are getting close. Sam Calcatera, how are you, my friend? What is a good liquidity map indicator? Honestly, I would say maybe if you use like a heat map from Bookmap, maybe that's probably your best bet. But that only shows you depth of market orders. Which volume profile are you using, yesterday or the whole week? I am using, I'm using multiple, Daniel. So, that's a really nice gap right down there. This is the daily. So this current session. Actually, we're going to wait until we get into here before we're looking for a buy. 620. That's actually a very nice little gap. I still think the buyers could have this. Oh, look at that. They're still fighting here. Both sides are still fighting dramatically. But then sellers are willing to come back in. This is oof. What an absolute. This is a lot of volume. A lot of volume. And sellers come back in. Okay, ideally we get a bit lower. Let's just peek into here. Shit ton of buyers come in and then do a quick V shape. That would be good. That would be good. So yeah, sorry, Daniel. I'm using multiple volume profiles at the moment. So sorry, I got to keep my eye on this footprint for a second. I will get back to the volume profile in a minute because I feel like if I take my eye off it, I'm going to miss critical information right now. Ah, shit, look at these buyers come in. I think ultimately I might have been right here, but I think I must stop just a little bit too tight. And it was just a bit too choppy. But let's see. That's a shit ton of sellers getting squeezed out now. All right, let's see if these fresh buyers can hold it up. If they can't, we're going back down. New sellers coming back in now. We're going back down. That was just a false breakout, which is good because that means we still have an opportunity to potentially jump in. I'm going to gear up. I'm still more on the buy side right now, just for now. All right, buyers coming back in a bit lower down, 240, 200, 280. Let's see if they can prop it up. Let's see if these buyers can keep it up and squeeze these sellers out. So now we really don't want to get much lower than there. There it is. There's a bit of volume coming in. See if we can get all the way back up to that gap. The sellers are still willing to transact. They're getting below there. That's not good. That happened really quick. Buyers are still willing. New buyers are still willing to come in, which is good. That means buyers are happier to buy higher up. I'm going to just keep my finger on the exit rather than set a stop because I think if I get it too tight to stop, I mean, I could have like a absolute, worst case scenario stop, which would be down here, but I'll get out a bit earlier if I see something I don't like. But I still think the buyers have got this because the sellers were putting in so much volume, but they weren't being that good. There's a bit of it. There it is. All right, good. But we got to take out all these sellers, and they're all going to try and short, maybe, unless they give up. Our best bet right now is sellers just give the hell up. We've got fresh buyers coming in. Good. These buyers need to keep holding the line, Let's not get too far below. Look, still sellers are still willing to transact and short it. So it could very easily just dump back down again. There's no guarantee on anything right now. But we do have a few good signs from the buyers. One is that they were willing to buy a bit higher up. rather than, back down to the lows. So as a whole, and you can see a little bit of buying coming in already. So that, again, they're willing to buy higher up now, which is, again, a good sign. That means buyers are being more confident. Oh, 600. All right, these guys have to hold this shit up. They're becoming very aggressive. These guys fail, we're in trouble. But it looks like they're doing very well. Good. Good. Good, good. I'm assuming a few stops potentially there. Maybe some people at break even, but it looks like sellers are slowly giving up now. We've got the real buy pressure coming in. Let's see if we can just blow through these highs as well and really get a serious move now. I will get to your message, Daniel, about the volume profile in a moment. All right, I promise. So there's a big chunk of buyers sitting right there. Now, whether they're new buyers, hard to say. I would say it's probably a combination of some of these sellers here potentially getting out at kind of break even, but also new buy pressure. Come on, don't fail here. Sellers are still willing to short. Despite the buy volume coming in, sellers are still happy to try and short this market. But the good news is buyers are buying higher and higher up in the move. Oh, what the hell? Ay, ay, ay. Come on. There's a big freaking seller right here. I'm not going to jump out just yet, because let's see if we can get above that seller, whoever this giant institution is that just dumped a massive aggressive order. If we get above them, these buyers are they need to defend. Nah, it looks like this might not work out now. That's way too much volume for the buyers to hold up. But let's see. Let's see. I think this might be, unfortunately, just too much aggression. There's nothing you can do about that. If someone hits aggressively the sell button, what can you do? The only thing we can hope for right now is our buyers want to squeeze out these people. Let's squeeze them out. They're trying it. So it's literally what you're seeing here are two large whales, institutional whales, fighting each other tooth and nail right now. So it is a dangerous position to be in, because the reality is you could have this situation happen again, right? Whoever this seller was, they created a massive order aggressively and they gapped the market way down, cleared so many levels in the book, right? But that does also mean they're extremely vulnerable, these people. But these buyers who are trying to squeeze them out, they're vulnerable too. So if we get below the buyers and they drop out, we're completely screwed. Then the buyers are gone. But vice versa too. If we get above those sellers and squeeze these people out, that's really good. Do you know what I mean? That is really good for the buyers. So the battle is kind of moved into this area now. Either this high or this low. These are the two areas. Right now, we're dead in the middle. It's anyone's game. God knows what's going to happen, right? You can't predict this now. The smart move would probably be, rather than risk it, probably get out. But no, let's just hold it. It's not a big deal. We haven't got really any size on. We only got one lot, so it's not a huge amount. And we know, look, if we get below there, all right, fine. We get out, a few points loss. It's not a big deal, right? But the potential reward, if the buyers are successful, is way bigger than the tiny loss that we could have. But if you wanted to preserve like your capital, the smart move right now would be to get the hell out. Whether you shorted or bought, doesn't matter. Get the hell out would be the smart move in terms of capital preservation. But if you wanna live on the wild side a bit, stay in and root for the buyers. Look at the sellers still coming back in. These guys are not willing to give up. They're not willing to give up. We need to squeeze them out. Come on, buyers. I need to see volume. Volume. They're coming in. They might win this, these sellers. Come on, buyers. Buyers aren't printing that big of numbers either. But what is interesting is you see where that 500 is? They're kind of, they're protecting their entry. But realistically speaking, like I said, if we get much below it and they get out, game over. So I've got my finger on exit because it might be game over any second if these sellers keep hammering these buyers. It looks like this institution might win here. Son of a bitch, they've won and the buyers are out. I'm getting out as well. These guys are unfortunately out. That was a very, very and look, the moment that buyer's been squeezed out, it floods. There's nothing holding it back anymore, right? The only reason this market wasn't completely dropping is because these buyers were holding them back for a bit. Good effort from them. They tried to squeeze them out. But whoever this person is, you saw it in real time, whoever this seller was, and it wasn't a collective of lots of sellers. This was one giant institution, right? Because it was an instant move. It wasn't like, a build-up of orders. It was an instant boom, and all of a sudden the volume was there. That means they placed their order probably near the high. And although it says, 200 and all that quite equally, what actually happened is that they placed their order quite high up. One big giant order, maybe like, I don't know, 3,000 contracts, right? 3K. And it just cleared every buy limit in the book until their order was filled and it stopped there. Does that make sense? So probably their average entry price was more in the middle, maybe around here was probably their entry, their average price. But once that buyer was gone, look how easy the market's able to flood down, and they're just adding more and more aggression right now to try and get this market down. So this is okay, that gap is kind of, well, it's been filled because of the amount of volume that's just come in. We got to figure out now. Our goal is to figure out. So this seller here, where they entered in this candle, this guy, we got to figure out where the hell they will probably want to exit, or when they do exit. Okay. So this is all, fresh selling. This is them again. You can just clearly see that's them again, right? Kind of got to their entry price, which would be on average somewhere in the middle, instantly put more volume in, push the market down. They're probably also participating here somewhere. But this is obviously a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon as well. And a lot of these buyers getting stopped out will be in this volume as well. So this candle is not that important. It's this area here is the real move, right? So we got to figure out, where are they getting the hell out? Well, the obvious one will be the low. Maybe that's their take profit. But who knows? Considering how much volume they put in, they might want to target lower down to other bits of structure. It's hard to know exactly where their take profit is, but there's nothing we can really do right now apart from, unless there's another option, but this is a very big if. Very big if. If hypothetically buyers come in right now and they manage to get the market back up to around this area where these people entered, whatever happens in that area can give us a good clue whether the market's going to go up or down, right? So if we get back into this area, if we see now, let's say, a lot of sell pressure come in, right? Lots of sellers. We know that that seller is still defending. right? Still defending, still defending, still defending. So they're still putting more size in and still willing to get this market down. Now, if we see a big ton of buyers come in, right, then we know that seller has put their stops to break even and are out the market, and this is no longer going to affect the market. Does that make sense? So that is the next hypothetical situation. That's if we get there, right? Only if. There's no guarantee we're going to get up there, right? Because it's going to take a lot of aggression from the buyers to actually push it up back up to there. But let's see. You can still see buyers coming in. I'm not now any more willing to buy until we get lower down or until this seller is out the market. So I just want to track this seller. I don't care about really any of the buyers coming in right now. They're insignificant to me. The only thing I want to track is that big seller that came into the market. Are they getting out the market? Are they adding? Are they, do you know what I mean? I'm trying to track them now, and only them, because they're the ones ruling the market. They're the ones who move the market, right? There is still a big buyer in this market willing to trade. You saw them come in straight after, right? And this candle. But the battle, ultimately, the seller just annihilated that buyer. And you can still see buyers willing to come in, right? Maybe it could be this institution again, right? Saying, okay, fine, let's give it another shot. That could be possible. Or it could be a different institution. Who knows, right? But either way, I'm not interested in buying until these guys are out the market. Okay, let's look at the comments while we wait for this low. So this black line is the next like obvious area where you expect profit taking or something to happen, right? So until we get there, right now I'm not interested in this. Okay. Autumn, good to see you. How are you? Just passed the first part of my TPT eval. Amazing. Great stuff, Autumn. Good stuff. SP Ticker, good to see you again. We're just now getting above the open. In other words, sellers are active from the open. Yes. Dr. Kais, good to see you. It's been a while. You're right. I've been to trade pre-market recently, so I haven't been able to make your line. That's absolutely fine, man. That's absolutely fine. Sumo wrestling. Yes, exactly. Are you in a long? A while back I was. I'm assuming you probably typed that when I was in it. So yeah. But like I said at the time, in that long, the smart move would have been to get out here, right? Because we know that seller was just so aggressive, and there's a good chance that these buyers might not actually win. But I wanted to hold it because I know if we get below there, we're gone. Like, and it was only a small, I think my entry was like there. So it wasn't a terrible stop. But if, those buyers did manage to squeeze those sellers out, that would be a really nice trade. Really good risk reward. You would have had a really nice move and it would have been good. Mastro, good to see you. Come stay? What do you mean, Mastro? Come stay. The NQ is once again touching 200 EMA. Interesting. Well, that kind of like, oh, look at that. All right, profit's been taken. Profit is being taken. Look at that volume. I think that seller has taken some profit. Happens to be around 3,000 contracts. That was similar to what they entered. Okay, so we can now pretty confidently say that gigantic seller higher up has taken profit, right? Where was he? This person here is out the market. Now that they're out the market, we want to look at new sellers coming in, right? And see them fail. If they fail, so these are new sellers coming in, these 800, these are all people trying to, short. So if they fail and buyers get above them, we have something. We have a potential move. They got out a little bit, above the high, but that's absolutely fine. Probably, but they definitely got out the market. That big chunk of volume. All right, we got buyers coming in. Those sellers seem to start failing. Let's go in one more time for a buy, okay? We need to see, obviously, a lot more buy pressure, but again, we might get chopped up a little bit here as sellers keep coming in. But if we get really much below this kind of low here, let me zoom in. If we get below basically where those sellers are, so let's just say below this candle here, we know those buyers have failed. There's no squeeze, and then we just kind of wait until the squeeze does happen, right? So I'm just going to keep my finger. Oh, a bunch more sellers came in, but that's fine. All right, we're going to get out quickly. I don't want to hold anything once these sellers, but we want to see failure in the sells. There was a bit of failure, but nothing too major. There's still a lot of people willing to sell, but I think any moment, because these are all fresh sellers again. Yes, they were good. These are all fresh sellers. We need to get above all these guys here. If we get above them, we got the move. But not just above them, but squeeze them out, actually get them out the market. Because we can get above, but they hold on. That also doesn't really help us, right? But there's a big amount of sellers coming in. I think the squeeze is going to happen. I think any moment the squeeze is going to happen. I'm going to jump in again for a buy. I know I'm really aggressive here, constantly jumping in, but I think the squeeze might happen. I've front runned it. Come on. I need to get above all that volume. A smidge of buying, but they got out in that. It's not it. It's not it yet. Not it yet. Not yet. Sellers are not giving up. They're still coming in really heavy. This is a shit ton of volume, man. But we know all these people are vulnerable. Again, we still have to get above here. There's hard to know what these guys are doing, to be honest. Hard to kind of figure out who these guys are. Because we took out that load, so they could be fresh. They could be. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. So I'm going to ignore these people for now. Buyers keep failing still. Okay, there's some smidge, but they're failing. They're not really. I see potential again. Again, because then we can have a stop literally below those buyers there. If they fail, it's fine. All right, I'm going back in again, literally below this buy candle. If we get below there, we know we're wrong. So we can have all these tight little stops. But we want to get above here. This is where we need to go. We need to get above there quickly with momentum. Okay, boom, stops are happening. Stops have been hit. Good, good, good. Now we need fresh buy pressure to keep it propped up above here. Don't fail here now. If I see, again, too many sellers come in, I'm just going to get out and we're going to become super micro scalpers. Because this is... people are too eager to sell right now. We saw sellers come in again at the highs. Very annoying. Come on, buyers. Reload. Where are you? Reload. They're just not reloading. They're getting absorbed like a motherfucker right now. And then fresh sellers coming in lower down, which isn't good. It's a bad move, unfortunately. Oh, try to get out. 1 minute. The reaction was there, but just sellers keep coming in. Come on, buyers. One last chance. Get above them. Because we did squeeze some of them out. The big chunk of volume came at the highs here. We did squeeze some of these, potentially these guys, wherever they might be. Some of these sellers did get get stopped out, there was just no follow through from the buyers. They didn't add any more volume. Now they're adding. But the problem is, the reason that's happening is buyers are very cautious naturally, right? There's less chance you're going to get people willing to buy higher up. They're more likely to buy once there's like some kind of pullback and it's lower down. So until we see buying happening at the top, similar to these guys here who are willing to buy a bit higher up and keep adding, we need more of, more people who are willing to buy higher up to keep the market up. So again, fresh buyers, they're slowly happy to transact a bit higher, but it's got to have momentum to it. Otherwise sellers will just keep coming in. If there's a lot of momentum, it should spook sellers enough to not come in as aggressively as they were. But it's failing around here. It is starting to fail. We're seeing that volume, like these are all fresh buyers. But remember, these guys are vulnerable as well. Just like how the sellers, like these guys, were vulnerable. Our buyers here are also very vulnerable. So we don't really want to get much below them. Because if we drift below them, they're out the market and then the market just floods down again. And the same shit happens and the same shit happens. Come on. You got this. Again, sellers willing to come in. We need to stay above, realistically above that candle. Above that low, sorry. Or whenever you see those buyers get out, you also want to get out. But ideally, we stay above here, right? That's the ideal place. I'm seeing buyers still coming in, which is good, but they're failing, man. They're failing. I don't think it's ready. I have my finger on exit. I'm trying to track every number, but it's happening very quick. 82, 30. Okay, cleared them. Good. Buy higher up. Buy higher up. We need to see buy pressure. There's some buy pressure coming in around that 500, but it's 600. Good. See, when the buy pressure comes in, we get that pop, and it's not bad. We just need more buyers to also agree it's a good time to buy. There it is. Come on, bit more. We can do this. Bit more. Keep it going. Don't fail here. 300. All right, we're getting... They keep failing. And then sellers come back in. This is freaking dangerous, man. The really dangerous part is if one of those big sellers decide to come in super aggressively like they did earlier, you just don't know. There's no way of knowing when they'll do that. All it takes is some institution to go, fuck it, let's sell 1,000 contracts, and then boom, we're fucked. And it looks like they're doing that now. But again, they're vulnerable. Same playbook as before. If the more sellers that come in and fail, the better for us, right? So we want to, again, get above all that sell volume and squeeze these guys out. Then we get a nice pop again. But if it doesn't happen, so now really get below that low, we want to get out. I don't like the volume distribution. It's not looking great. If we get below there, I'm getting out basically at my entry. It looks like they'll got it. I'm out. I'm not. I think the buyers are gonna. Yep, and we start flooding a bit. Didn't quite. Like it wants to happen. There's just too many sellers at this moment in time. They're still too happy to sell. Where are we overall in the market? I understand why they want to sell, but they're still too eager to sell right now. They're not willing to. They're not giving up yet. They're just way too eager to sell. I'm going to let it rotate a bit. Let it rotate. Let's have a look at the chat. This means how are you in Italian? Oh, does it? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm very good. How are you, Mastro? Bull time. I'm long. I'm out for a sweet loss. They are being absorbed like a motherfucker. Definitely the line of the day. Sid, good to see you. Low posted March 9th on the daily. 6584 low posted March 9th on the daily. Interesting. Thank you, Ronald. ZT content. Good morning, everyone. ZT, good morning to you. It's Friday and it's a scary downtrend. Be careful. So far, yeah. But again, you got to remember, although it's a scary downtrend, because it is obviously a downtrend. No one can, claim it's not a downtrend, right? It all comes down to, because it's like a domino effect, the market, right? It's purely a domino effect. Every time you see risk on in the market, so let me just turn this heater off. Every time you see someone putting too much risk in the market, they become vulnerable. If they become vulnerable and they lose one leg to the upside, does that make sense? So in this case, it was these guys right here, right? These sellers that came in, they became vulnerable. When we got them out, it was one win for the buy. Now, yes, sellers came back in again, but the more times that win happens, the more likely, like there's no reason to anymore, like, look, that big sellers come back in again by the looks of it. Fuck me. Holy shit, look at that. I think most of this market is right now ruled by one gigantic seller. It looks exactly the same as this person here. No, there was no like obvious kind of, build up. It was just one giant order placed and boom, the market gaps, right? And again, we had the same thing, but now look, normally I would be like, let's try squeeze this guy out, but we know he was very good. Whoever this person is, I don't really want to come up with them again. I don't really want to battle that person again. And I don't think buyers are going to battle this person again because they're just too aggressive, But I think the majority of the market right now is ruled by one institution. One gigantic institution is selling most of this, which then kind of leads me to believe, why are they selling so aggressively? What is going on? Who is selling? Because it's definitely, I can almost 99% confident that it's one institution. Like, don't get me wrong, there's obviously going to be other sellers, and there's going to be a lot of other sellers. A lot of the other volume, like general volume, yeah, that's just a bunch of, collective selling. But a few times now, we've had one entity just dump a shit ton of orders, right? We've had that happen a few times. We had it there. We had it earlier on. Which leads me, now we got to ask the question, what is that person, what do they know? Do you know what I mean? They're putting in so much volume. What do they know? Who is that person? Why are they shorting? I want to look at the NQ and see if the volume on the NQ is any different in terms of, like, obviously it's gonna be similar, but I want to see just on the delta as a whole. 1 second. So which candle was it? It was this candle here, 11 past. 11 past. All right, there was a spike in volume. All right, this is interesting. Look at this. Look at the, we have generally quite big volume. There was a bit of a spike in volume on that candle, right? 877 on the delta. But compare it to the ES. I think the ES, it was a lot bigger, that spike. Yeah, compare it to the ES. On the same candle, we have a much bigger spike, 2,600 in comparison to before, 400, 900. So I don't think it's tech related, what we're seeing, this sell-off. Let me look at the YM. The Dow. Ah, shit, why can't I see the fucking Dow properly anymore? I don't know what's going on. It's not letting me see. Before, I always used to have like the actual CME, I can't seem to get the Dow anymore. I don't know what the hell's going on with TradingView. Okay, if anyone else has access to the Dow, I can look at it in what do you call it? I can look at it on the other platform. What's the platform called? 1 second. Let me go charting. Let me load up the Dow on Go Charting so I can see. Because all I want to do is compare the volume on that candle. Let me just pull it up real quick. Continuous future, 1 minute candle. Because I want to know what exactly is being shorted here. All right, so this is the Dow. Delta's at the bottom, 11. Yeah, we got a huge spike in the Dow as well. So on the same candle, if you look at the average volume and then boom, massive spike in the Dow. Okay, interesting. That's very interesting. I think this might be potentially something to do with the war. I think someone knows something. I wonder if it's a particular stock. I wonder if someone knows something, because they're way too certain, and they're going in aggressively. They're not even adding passively. They're just aggressively shorting. It's not normal. It's not normal day trading. It's like, it's almost like if you're super confident about something. Do you know what I mean? There's no, and it's definitely one entity. It's one entity doing it. I might be a bit of a conspiracy theorist here, but I think this, whichever entity this is, they know something. They know something. The sumo is smacking the shit out the other sumo dude. It may bounce on that big opening balance, might have to touch down the bottom. Lots of passive buyer orders. Yeah, Kevin, I think normally, if this person wasn't in the market, we would have a much more, because look, there are buyers in agreement. They're all, they tried very hard, but then you always get this one dude, this one institution that keeps dumping, like aggressively dumping. They're the ones I'm curious about, and I'm not even going to try and get up against them, because they're too aggressive. Do you know what I mean? They're too aggressive. So until they're out the market. But then again, why would they get out the market? If it was something long term that they know, they wouldn't get out the market. They would hold the position, right? You build up your position, boom, boom, boom. You get as much as you can, and then whatever they believe is going to happen in the future, that they make the money off that. Why that? Because I genuinely believed they got out the market here on the first leg, right? Unless that wasn't them, unless they're still in the market, and because they're trading as if they're still in the market. Do you know what I mean? Unless they genuinely just added. Maybe they didn't get out. Maybe they just genuinely added more size, because again, they actually defended this area. Maybe I read it wrong here. I think I might have read it wrong. I assume because we're at this low, this is going to be take profits, right? Sellers, that seller getting out and take profit, but they held it up. And then they dumped it again. I think they're just adding. They are building up a fucking order right now. This is what they're doing, I think. I don't know. This one's hard to read. Really hard to read. ZT Content says, I remember the Friday just before the war, the same thing happened. Oh, absolutely. Like, it happens always before something big happens. You see the insider trading. And it's like, it's so obvious, but at the same time, what can you do, right? No one ever goes to prison or anything for it. But that's the only thing that's the only kind of logical conclusion I can come up with right now. They have dumped multiple times. Like, you can tell they're not really placing orders right now. This is just normal kind of, buyers and sellers trading. They're all just fighting each other. It's kind of just whatever. And then this dude comes back in, boom, drops it all in one go. No, like, just they literally type in 10,000 contracts or whatever number and just hit sell. There's no kind of like, do you know what I mean? There's no kind of build up. There's no kind of strategy. It's just the liquidity's there. Boom, sell. They have size on their side, selling right from the open spells. Trend day down. Yeah, they definitely got size. That's for sure. I think it's happening similar again potentially. I didn't really see that. The move up was options gamma exposure correction. Ask black and white. 9:05 Eastern alert. USA alert. Iran threatens U.S. Israel leaders. Plasma personnel at resorts and tourist centers around the world after strike kills multiple. IRGC official cautions urge. So that came out at 9:05 Eastern. Okay, but that would have been priced in already. Do you know what I mean? That would have been, that would definitely affect the market at the time, but it would have been priced in at this moment in time. I would say keep your eye on the news coming up over the weekend, potentially. We'll see Monday. On Monday, we'll find out. We'll find out what this person was shorting. It'll become apparent on Monday. Any kind of, I'm telling you, don't put it past these big institutions. They know shit, and they will take advantage of it. They have people on the inside. They pay a good amount of money for insider information. Everyone knows they do it. They pretend, they don't do it, obviously. Even if they get caught, they pay a small fine or some shit, few million, whatever, No one ever goes to prison. Everyone's all part of the club, and we're not in it, essentially, right? Don't put it past them. They know something. That motherfucker there, he knows something. That's not normal for them to do. And they just keep dumping and dumping. Let's see. If I'm correct, then unlikely we're going to go up. Very unlikely the buyers will ever take control of this market until whatever the hell happens. I hope I'm wrong. Genuinely, I hope I'm wrong, because that's usually a bad sign when someone is shorting the fuck out of something like that. I hope I am wrong, because it's not going to be good news. Let's just put it that way. It's not going to be, oh, the war's ended, or something like, Lovely news. No, it's going to be something bad. It's not going to be good. It's going to be something bad. So I hope I am wrong. If we take out the low soon, it spells trend day. Look for one-time framing to stop before considering buying this market. Yeah, I'm not looking to buy anymore. I am not looking to buy anymore. Not after that person. Until I can confidently say this person is truly out the market, I will not be buying this market. If I do buy the market, then it will be just literally one or two candles kind of scalp, but no way would I ever imagine that person's going to get squeezed out. They have way too much size, they're way too aggressive, they're not going to give up. So unless they truly get out the market, maybe they're just they could just be hypothetically, they could just be someone who is day trading, and genuinely believes, they don't have any information. They're just trying to, push price down, get out, wait for a retracement, jump in really aggressively, get out. They could be doing that, right? And it could just genuinely be legit trading. But I'm not buying it. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So we'll see. All ES sectors are negative now. Never heard you swearing so much. Remember, the market is always right. The market is absolutely always right. The market is absolutely always right. ES and NQ both took London lows. Dow still not been able to. Interesting. US dollars moving up last hour. Oh, hey, Sean, good to see you. Didn't see you there. Have you thought about tracking the large lot traders only for cumulative volume delta, like the 50 lots or greater? I haven't. I mean, you can do that with the time and sales. Usually, you can just filter it out to track large individual orders. I used to have that, but I kind of stopped using it because it was just too much information after a while. War is something terrible. It is, man. Matt at 1:50 news came out that 3 American warships heading to Iran, boots on the ground. I at 1:50, did you say? 1:50. Well, that's interesting. Matt, I think you figured it out. So at 1:50, so okay. Son of a bitch. Okay, so this candle here, right? This was created because at 1:50, the news came out that 3 American warships are heading to Iran, indicating potentially, they're gonna, potentially put boots on the ground there, right? That person came in super aggressively how many minutes before? 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes before, this person dumped a giant order. Can someone double check that at 1:50, so American time, it will be 9:50 Eastern time that news came out? Because if Matt, if you're correct, that makes then total sense. It was insider trading. This son of a bitch right here knew exactly that was about to get announced and made and full ported essentially because they knew it was son of a bitch. If that is correct, then absolutely that was insider trading. Because how are you going to know what 3 minutes before it gets announced? You just happen to fricking dump thousands of. Come on, don't give me that crap. Do you know what I mean? It's been suggested U.S. Marines are about to seize key Iranian island, not confirmed. The Iran threat alert was an announcement on Saudi news moments before. Okay, this is all starting to make sense. So this person isn't. So they're literally scalping in terms of their. So they did get out. I think they did get out here then. potentially, or maybe they didn't. Who knows? But either way, they're only looking to make a short-term. They know something was about to come out. Short-term movement, boom, a few minutes before, made money, out. That's what I think they're doing. And I think they're like holding it for like big, massive announcement. And it's going to be like a long term. Because normally when there's like a big, like really big news, they kind of build up their position a bit more. Do you know what I mean? And they make it so obvious just by dumping 2,000 contracts in 1 second. They build it up the whole day or a couple of days before you see that build up. And then all of a sudden, the weekend, you know, something comes out. Oh, they just happen to be in the market with thousands of contracts, right? That's normally how it's done. Because otherwise it's a bit obvious. But that was way too obvious. It's a normal trend day. Happens about 15% of the time. But you're absolutely right, SP Ticket. It is a normal trend day. It happens. But why does it happen? It happens because people have knowledge and they put in so much volume because they know something. You know, the markets had a multi-month consolidation, all the volumes overhead, long liquidations. Markets are now pricing in 2 rate hikes by the end of the year. I also saw something about the US invading Kharg Island, which is 90% of Iran's crude flow, which will probably happen over the weekend. Interesting, Rocky. Interesting. Have you tried blowing at the screen from under the monitor? If the US controls Iranian oil, it will test China's resolve at as a lot of their oil comes from Iran. It would. Yeah, sorry, 1:50 UK time. Gotcha, Matt. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Trump is getting ready to announce boots on the ground. It's on financial juice. Okay, if it's on financial juice, then yeah, Matt. I think you figured the right headline that person's shorted. Yeah, because look again, it was just too desperate. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't normal set buying and selling. It was one gigantic move. It was one big order being placed at one in a second, right? And he gapped the market. And you always got to think to yourself, like, why would someone do that? You know, it is known institutions don't enter that aggressively because it does gap the market and they get a bad price, right? It's better to build up. That's what absorption is, right? Why would that person have done it? It's because they knew that was about to be announced. They knew it's going to have a reaction. They're probably already out the market, potentially. Who knows, right? I mean, it's hard to track. We know they've done it. Because look, we've got a bit of a pullback. This is like starting to look normal again. Just normal kind of, you know, how you would expect it, the market to be. And then the danger is you can't fight that. There's no way of knowing. Look, if something's about to be announced in 4 minutes, unscheduled news, and someone knows that it's about to be announced, you cannot fight that. It's very, very dangerous. So I'm going to be hesitant to buy this market. Even if I see people get squeezed out, all that, I'm going to be quite hesitant because any second, that person could come back in. If unless that is all the news and they've made their money, they're done now. I mean, hopefully that is the case, that they're done. There's no more. They're out the market. Let's look at the 15 minutes, see if we can see anything a bit more obvious. Look, we're seeing the volume, you know, spike up a bit there. It would indicate that a lot of the sellers have exited, right? Potentially, especially on around there, and that a lot of the sellers potentially have exited. But I don't know, man. I don't know. What else could it possibly? What other news could possibly come out right now? Maybe Trump will announce that he's putting boots on the ground. That's going to push it down, right? Could be that. It hasn't been announced yet. It's a tough one, man. It's a really, really tough one. Peter says, I wish I could be a fly on some walls. Imagine that. Imagine you had that information, man. Imagine if you knew in 4 minutes' time the market's going to drop a decent amount. What would you do? Fuck yeah, you'd full port. Do you know what I mean? You would full port the shit out of the market, just like that guy did. And think about it. I mean, let's just look at the volume that person posted, right? Because we know in that candle they were the majority because it happened instantly. Wasn't even subtle, right? They pretty much were exclusively had most of the volume, right? So just on the sell side, in fact, let's just switch on sell volume so we can see. Sell volume just happens to be about 5,000 contracts on the sell volume. What a nice kind of round number as well. But 5,000 sellers sell contracts in one candle, right? They were probably, I would say, 70% of that, maybe. 70, probably at least 50% of that volume was them. Call it 2,500 contracts. Instantly, they entered. And let's say, best case scenario, they got out at the low. This was them. I mean, this would make sense that was them again when they exited because the volume was very similar. You can see. So wait a minute, 5,000 were sold. Let's say they were 3,000 of that. That would kind of line up with their exit. I do think they actually exited. I still think they exited here. They put a take profit there. They got triggered out because it also just happens to be at the same. It makes sense. It was at that low. The volume is about the same of what they entered. I think they genuinely, I think they did get out. So they went from, with an average price of, they got in here, average price somewhere in the middle, and they got out there. They did 25 points. 25 points at 3,000 contracts. How much money is that? Let me ask ChatGPT. How much would they have made on the ES? So we can get an idea here. Old 3,000 E-mini contracts on the ES and made 25 points. What is my profit? Anyone want to have a guess? I mean, I could figure it out just timesing it by, just shy of 4 million. Just shy of 4 million in minutes. Freaking insane, man. Freaking insane. That is mad. Yeah. Can you imagine making 4 million in a few minutes because of a bit of insider information? How much would you pay for that information, the right people? Do you know what I mean? Some journalist maybe who knew of the information. I don't know. whoever or someone within, the White House and within the cabinet who would know that. Slide them a few 100,000 to make for easily. That's where the money's at, man. That's that is where the money is at. You don't even need to do all this kind of read the chart. You just, damn. That is where the money's at. Not a bad payday, right? In a few minutes, 4 million in a few minutes. How long did it take him? 1, 2, and they probably added more, right? Because you can kind of see again. I wouldn't be surprised that it was even more than 3,000 contracts. That's just a conservative estimate, right? Insane, man. All right, fine. There'll be commission, whatever. Who cares? But like, either way, they made a lot of money very quickly. But it looks like they're out the market, to be fair. I mean, I think they did exit there. We did have, again, another big kind of spike. But ultimately, I think they're out the market. I think they knew that was going to happen. They entered. They made their money. I don't think it's a longer term move. So I would start being happy to potentially buy this market again. I don't think it's a what do you call it? I don't think it's like a long term, oh, something's going to happen on the weekend and this market's going to, on Monday morning open at like really low down or something. I mean, it could happen, of course. We could easily gap, but I don't think that individual was their plan. I think they knew about that news release. They shorted it very hard a few minutes before the news came out. Boom. They got out the market. They made their money. I don't think they're a threat anymore at pushing this market down unless they know more stuff. But there's no way of us knowing that, right? Do you know what I mean? No way of us knowing if there's more stuff coming out. But I think it's kind of safe now to start trading normally again. So we shall see. We shall see. Right, let's try figure out what we're looking at. There is this, between these two black lines, there's like a really small kind of gap right at the bottom of the gap. So that was a couple of days ago. I think I was like, if we get there, that'll be a really nice potential long. So who knows? Let's look at some of these chats. Sammy, are you looking to sell pretty soon? I wouldn't want to sell until I really get. It's a hard one, man. Like, I know it's a bearish market. Don't get me wrong, but we're at such a significant area. We're at such a significant area right now. I wouldn't be super comfortable shorting it until we get below there. I think this market can still very easily push up. I think the majority, I don't know. I think the last hour or so was dictated by that one person, essentially, really driving that market down. I don't think they're in the market anymore. I don't think they're much of a threat. And I think we could potentially start going up soon. But I would want it to happen a bit lower down. I would want it to be more around here. If we can get into here and I see the right thing, I will go for a buy. But if we break below here, then I'm all for shorts then, I think, for now. I would only want to sell if we drift up to, bit higher up. I mean, we don't really have even like a decent gap, to be honest. There's not even a decent gap higher up. The only gap is that tiny little one there, but that's pretty much filled. Okay, we did have a pull up into it just now. So yeah, unless there's a decent pull up, I wouldn't want to short just yet, because I'll be shorting near the lows. This is the problem, right? We have to have a breakout then. There's a lot of sell volume coming in again. But it's kind of, look how the numbers are ticking. It's not just one giant boom. It's more a collective, you know? Was it Pelosi? Who knows? It could have been. Are we looking for a sell scalp? Not yet. For me personally, not yet. There would have been one near the top here, to be fair, when we got back into that gap. That could have been a sell scalp, but at this moment in time, not yet. If anything, I'm looking at these sellers here. They're not doing very well. We're trading above them. If they get squeezed out, we're going back up. So if we break the high here, I think again we go back up a bit. So I'll be more interested in a buy scalp, believe it or not. But again, I wouldn't want to buy until we get lower down. Whilst we're in this middle, just dead in the middle, I'm not really interested. There it is. Yeah, those sellers completely failed. But at least the market's reacting a bit more, as you would expect. We don't have this threat of a sudden massive seller coming in and just shooting it down. I think they're truly out the market. I don't think they've made their money. They've closed their but they've closed their desk. I think they're done. I don't think they're going to come back in. I say that, and then the next candle, you just see him enter again. Pelosi is stuck inside a wall. 2.3 million. Wowzers. I'd feed that fly some caviar. Eid Mubarak, Sami. Eid Mubarak to you. Furkan. Trump announced yesterday, we're not putting boots on the ground. Well, who knows? Maybe it's changed. Why is your volume at 2200 not at? Because this is 2200 is New York, is when New York closes my time. So this is because I'm at UK time, right? It's the market hours are not based on the UK time. It's based on American. So does that make sense, Daniel? So when the market closes in the US, that's 10 p.m. my time. So that's why it shows 10 p.m. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get below. Let's see if we can get down here and then potentially get a good buy going. Because again, I don't want to buy here. I don't really want to sell here. Does Trump lie? Like if he says there's no boots are going to go on the ground, I don't know. I think he could very easily go back on his word. Very easily go back on his word. I mean, but the news that did come out that was it Michael, I think, or Matt? Sorry, Matt pointed out could indicate. Look, if they're sending warships already heading to Iran, most of the warfare was being, done by missiles and planes and all air. Now they're, sending ships or heading to Iran, whether that, I don't know. It is definitely an escalation, right? But I could see how people will see that as a potential. Oh, this is the next stage will be bringing, boots on the ground, right? That would be really it. I can't imagine what else can you possibly do at that point. But I think that would be a disaster, personally. Are we looking for manipulation, then enter reversal, accumulate? Yeah, like when people say manipulation, it's just people stops getting hit, right? That's it's not really, no one's really being manipulated. It's just people releasing pressure. Like, there's going to be a bunch of stops above these highs, right? So if we break above them, a bunch of stops are going to get hit from anyone shorting. So you're going to see a bunch of buy pressure come here, and vice versa. All the people who bought in this range, their stops are going to be below there. If they get hit, you see a bunch of sell orders appear. It's that's all it is, Are we looking? Oh, I saw that already. I really hope there are no boots on the ground, but if there are, we may have to give Trump the liar pencil fire talk. Warships are for Hormuz oil shipping issue, not an escalation or a boots on the ground situation. Yeah, but that's been spoken about quite a while now, hasn't it, Rav? Oh, he's gonna bring ships to escort the oil tankers so we can get oil through it. So I guess, yeah, you're absolutely right. Actually, that could be it, because that was spoken about for a while now, and maybe now it's actually happening. So you're about to see stops get hit once we get below these lows, or potentially below here. Depends where people's stops are, but you're going to see potentially a bunch of sell volume just spike any second. Are we going to get that sell volume? No, didn't quite get there. Any second. It's been spoken about for a while, but he was looking for other countries to join in, which we got during the night, I believe. Even Japan are joining. Japan's joining. Well, I guess they need the oil as well, don't they? Fair play. I didn't expect Japan to join in, though. There we go. Stops are about to get hit. And wait for it. Wait for the spike. Oh, so close. Haven't been stopped out just yet. Buyers are about to be stopped. Starting to see it spike up. I think buyers are exiting. Like, yeah, it's too close to my stop loss to getting out. Boom. But more buyers came back in, to be fair. Bought the bottom of the range. Here we should expect to see some stops get hit. But as we truly, there it is. There's the stops. Right there. All the buyers got stopped out in that range. They're all out right there. Yeah, allies are sending ships, and who knows, they need protecting. Wee bit out of practice. Roughly 2,200 to 2,500 Marines from the California-based USS Boxer Amphibious Ready Group and 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit are heading to Iran. Interesting. Well, I mean, it's relatively small news. I don't think it was major news. It was just one person who obviously knew what was about to happen, and they made a few million from it a few minutes before. So fair play. All right, let's get down to here. Let's take one more trade because I do have to leave soon. I'm actually potentially a little bit late, but it's fine. I can be a few more minutes. Oh, buyers all getting stopped out. As we got below the low, every buyer known to man has been out the market. The opposite of fair play. Yeah, it literally is. It literally is the opposite of fair play. It's corrupt play, but yeah. But I mean, they made what, at least 4 million in a few minutes. In a weird way, you can't almost blame them because, truth be told, if someone told me that, if I knew 4 minutes ahead the market's going to drop 20, 30 points on some news, and I could put in, I would do it. Let's be honest, I would do it as well. I'm not going to pretend like I would reject 4 million. Do you know what I mean? I would do it as well. It's just humans. Do you know what I mean? It's just when it's so brazen, it's so obvious in the market, and you're like at least hide it. Do you know what I mean? At least hide it. If you're gonna do it, at least do it subtly. That person didn't give a flying fuck. You can tell they're whoever that person is. They don't give a shit about potentially being investigated. They didn't care. To do it a few minutes before the news dropped, to drop that kind of volume. Come on. Oh shit, we're in that area. No, we're not. No, we're not in the area. The area's a little bit lower. I thought we touched it there. I got confused because of this black line. Sorry, no. It's this area here. We almost got there. That's where I want to buy. What the US is facing in the Hormuz is exactly what the Persians faced in Greece against the 300 Spartans, except much worse. They may eventually get through, but it will be a huge cost. I like that movie, 300. It's a good movie. Don't incriminate yourself. Hey, I've got no insider knowledge whatsoever, so I don't know anyone near enough important enough to have that kind of knowledge. So believe me, I'd be a lot wealthier if I did. Please tell your HP overlords that you'll be late until Ninja Trader and Trader Base shows up. Soon. R.I.P. Chuck Norris. Maybe that guy had a direct news feed from Reuters or whatever. He would know seconds to minutes before the website and TV shows news hit. I think like Financial Juice literally has that already. So I think when it landed, Financial Juice gets it pretty much within the minute. I think they knew from an inside source before it was going. It could have been the freaking journalist who published it. Who, for all we know, we don't know. Do you know what I mean? But someone knew. Do you know who Ivan Boski was? I don't, SP Ticker. Who's Ivan? This is a significant low on ES. If it falls, the next low is 21 November low. Could be big orders lying around, lurk around. Absolutely. This is the area I've been eyeing up for the last few days between these two black lines right there. Because I think it was yesterday, I drew this one out. And this was the most major dip in volume in the whole gap. And it's sitting right here. We got so close to it. We already had a bullish reaction, but I think we can get back into it. That's the area. He sold hundreds of S&P contracts the day before he was indicted to finance his legal defense. Of course he did. Of course he did. Yeah. Happens all the time, man. Happens all the time. It does make you wonder how much of the volume you're seeing, like how many people actually have insider knowledge here and there, because not everyone is super rich where they can you know, really impact the market, but a few are. A few are. But that was pretty cool. At least we got to see insider trading on the footprint. You know, it's not every day you get to spot it so openly and obvious. But this is the thing about insider trading. You don't know it's insider trading until hindsight, and then you realize, it's so obvious now that was insider trading. At the time, it could have just been, one person was really desperate to get this market down. But you always got to think to yourself, why were they that desperate? Why were they that confident the market's going to drop? You know? Because I wouldn't full pour, even if I thought right now, fucking hell, I think I missed that entry. Again, we didn't quite get there, man. We literally got a point away. And now the buyers are coming in. I think it's my day today. Look him up. He's right up there with the infamous traders. I will Google him. Can TradingView be used for Ola Prime, CFD, or futures? Unfortunately not. You can't execute on TradingView. But of course, you can always use TradingView just for analysis. But no, you can't hook it up to their buy and sell buttons. Very interesting to see the insider trade. I'm also having a live commentary as well. Thank you, Peter. I just read Ola Prime has TradingView integrating DX. Right. So DX Trade is it's like a separate platform, and their charts have TradingView inbuilt into it. So technically, yes, you can use TradingView, but you can only access it through DX Trade's platform. Does that make sense? It's like other platforms like Project X, right? That had TradingView charts. Like technically, it was TradingView within Project X, but you couldn't. Do you know what I mean? That's good enough for me. Awesome, perfect. Yeah. So, guys, I think we may have missed our entry potentially, because we're seeing buyers come in now really aggressively. We identified that was, the sweet spot, right? We got so close to it, and we've already. I mean, we've really we're coming in very aggressively. I don't know if we're going to come back down to this area now. I mean, it might do. I think we may have potentially missed the entry here. Maybe not. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It might drop back down again, and then hopefully we can get that entry. Okay, here we go. We might get it here. Let's get back into there and get the entry. Fatty, good to see you. And when it comes to politics, I've always found traders are actually quite interesting to listen to hear their thoughts, because as a general, most traders are analytical, rational people that don't have an overload of emotion. They can look at a situation from afar without getting sucked in and getting angry. Well, at least that's the good traders. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think you make a good point there, Peter. Absolutely. Absolutely. This market is dead. What's going on? Come on. Shit. I'm late. So, guys, unfortunately, I should have already been off about 20 minutes ago. This has gone way over schedule. Charis, hey Sammy, I sent you a wonderful pic on Insta. Okay, awesome. I'll have a look, Charis. Have a great weekend, Sam. Thank you, Rav. But guys, unfortunately, yes, I do have to go. But it's just as we're about to get. Come on, the timing is so bad today, man. With an indicator called Bear Sammy Hammer. Amazing. But guys, yeah, all right. Unfortunately, maybe I'll wait another minute, because if we get here, come on. Nah, it's not gonna happen. All right, yeah, I have to log out, unfortunately. But I'll catch you all Monday. I'll be back again. Have a great weekend, everyone. And yeah, I'll see you all Monday. Thank you all for tuning in and chatting. It's been a really good chat today. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.